So guys, let me throw you in the deep a little bit by just sculpting a human head. I will be not very slow and not very explanatory, but let's see how it will go. So, it's just a test. So now, we have this. What we have to do? We have to go to sculpting mode, Control Tab, or just go to sculpting mode from here. But since nothing is happening, why is nothing happening, by the way? There are no, our brushes are not here. Maybe we have to click on our object and then let's try to layout and sculpting, yes. Because no object was selected, you cannot go to sculpting mode. It was just, I don't know why, but nothing was selected. If you have nothing selected in your scene, you will not be able to go to sculpting mode. Yeah. So just select your object. And now we see all these brushes in here. I will go through all of them, not all of them, but only the ones that we will use, but most of them. But before that, let's see how do we start sculpting here. We start by just two brushes, grab brush and the standard, the normal brush, the sculpt draw brush. So the grab brush is G. It's very important to remember this default shortcuts. G is the grab brush, this one here, grab. And by the way, if I pull this a little bit more, we can see them, grab, and the draw brush is here in the top. So in the beginning you can choose them from this menu here. Grab, draw, draw sharp, and we will use those clay strips, draw, draw sharp, inflate, smooth, definitely, but smooth we will never press it. It will be with shift, it's very convenient. Almost all the brushes with shift you go to smooth brush. You just smooth, see? No, easy. Grab brush, the most important brush is the grab brush, and then the other brushes are not that important, we will see. So I like to give my brushes short keys, but in this case G and X are kind of good short keys. They are close to my left hand, so we can use them, no problem. But the other brushes, the draw brush, the draw brush is G, is X. This is X and this is G. X, G, X, G. By the way, again I have to go and turn on my keys because they are not shown. Okay. Now with N, I go this menu, N, okay. And this menu, by the way, we'll go to it, go to View, and this focal length here will be the focal length of our viewport. And 50 for a face is, it will be too distorted. So I like to go with 100 for a face. 85 to 100 is okay. So now it's fine. Now I press N and hide this. And now we have X for draw brush, G for grab brush. X, G. Remember those keys. X, G. It's very important. It's nice. G, by the way, if we are in layout mode, G will be moving. If we press G and start just hovering or moving around, we will, just moving the mouse, for example, G and move your mouse, or G and move your tablet over the surface, not on the surface, over the surface. This is G. S, by the way, is scaling, but this is for another thing. I will go to sculpting mode by Control Tab and go down. Control Tab and go down. Sculpt mode. Now I will pull my brushes again just to see them better. Okay, so now we can start with the grab brush. But if we start right away, very important, we will not have symmetry, which is not good. So we need symmetry. How to do it? Here is your symmetry window, very important window, by the way. And if you go to this little arrow here, you will see some other options. What I use is symmetrize sometimes. So let me show you what I mean. So I will just start, for example, with the grab brush. I will increase the size of my brush. How you can increase the size of your brush? There are a few ways. One of the ways is from here, radius. You can increase it. You can decrease it, but it's not convenient because you have to go with your mouse there. We tend to use F, for example, to increase the size of the brush or to decrease it. Just press F, select the size of your brush and release. This is one of the ways. I don't use that. I use the bracket keys. Just with the bracket keys, I can increase or decrease my size. Also what I use is zoom in and out. For example, if I want to have a big brush, I zoom out, and I have super big brush. I can do big operations. If I want small brush, I can zoom in, and my brush is smaller now compared to the object. Of course, this can vary, and you can change that into here. I think it was, yeah. We don't care about that yet. So, now, how do we start? We press X. I always press X to have symmetry on X. And now you see I have 2 dots. If I don't press X, and it's not blue here in the top, I have only 1 dot. Now I have 2 dots. 2 dots, 1 dot. What? Huh? Okay. Now, by the way, if you lose your object like this, what's happening? I don't see my object. Where is it? You are lost. You want to go home. You press home on your keyboard, and most of the time it will take you home. The other way you can do that is home. This is the home key. You have home key. Some laptops, I don't think they may not have home keys. You can try the del key on your number pad, or this is the comma key on the number pad, and it will kind of go to your current object. If you don't have a numpad, it will be difficult. So home or this on the numpad. It's some of the options. I think there were other options by right-clicking, but not in sculpt mode. Yeah. So, using the tablet, Alt dragging, Shift Alt dragging, Control Alt dragging. And where is our mouse? It again, I mean the keys are disappearing. I don't know what's happening, but those keys are disappearing. Doesn't matter that much. Maybe when I change between modes, they disappear. No, they're here, but whatever, it's okay. So now, 7 minutes into this, we have to start sculpting. So I have my symmetry on. I can start with my grab brush and just make something like this. A helmet shape. I can grab here, but you notice that I always rotate around my object with Alt. I always... Yeah, rotation, by the way, is one of the most important things. It's very easy, just with Alt click with the tablet. If you have your Emulate 3D button mouse on, if you don't have this in the Edit, Preferences, Emulate 3D button mouse, if you don't have this, you will not be able to do it. But it's your choice to do it with Emulate 3D button mouse and with Alt Shift and Alt Control to navigate, or to navigate with one of the buttons here to make it a middle mouse button. Always a valid option, but you always will have to work with your other hand too to press Shift and Control, so why don't you press Alt too? It's easier, for me at least. So, I'm just making something that resembles human head. Okay. This looks, by the way, not bad at all in the beginning. And now, I noticed that this grid is kind of bugging me. I don't like that. So, how to fix this grid? It's around here somewhere in this kind of thing. So, let's try this. Yes, it's here. So, it's here in the viewport overlays. We just disable the floor, not the grid. The grid we don't care. The floor we disable, and we don't have this grid anymore, which is strange. We disable the floor, not the grid. But the grid disappears, but we don't care, it's okay until it's gone. So now, we need more geometry. It's kinda, you see the polygons are starting to stretch, we want to make an ear, because ears are pretty important for humans, most of them have it. Most of us have ears. So I want to make my ears, but I cannot do it because I don't have the geometry here. So, what do? We have this option here, which is... I rarely use it from the menus, so I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I will try to find, maybe it's in this triangle, yes, remesh. So this option is in this triangle here, which is like this, and this is the voxel remesh. The voxel size will determine how big it will be. So if the voxel size is lower, this will be more polygons. If the voxel size is higher, this will be less polygons, bigger polygons. So the voxel size. And voxel remesh, this button will remesh it. But we don't use it like this. we use it like Shift R. And with this you have this grid. And with this grid you can see how big your polygons will be actually. So now if I stop at 0.05, my polygons will be this big, which is good. I like this. In the beginning, I like to stay just with big polygons. So these polygons will be nice. I press, and now this option will change in here. And it's 0.05. The default is 0.1. But sometimes it works. But with 0.05 or 0.06 in this case, I will be okay. So, how to remesh? We can press voxel remesh from here or Control R. So Shift R is to get this grid and Control R is to remesh. It's very convenient to do it. So you can smooth with Shift. So until now I was using only the grab brush and Shift for my smooth brush. And we have something nice. So I will get my brush smaller with the bracket keys. You see the bracket keys here I'm using. And now I want to mask this and invert the mask. Masking is pretty important when you sculpt. So I press M. Of course, M for mask and mask. The mask brush is selected here. Of course, you can go and select the brushes from here, but M is pretty self-explanatory. It's mask. So I just mask here. If I wanna demask because I made the mask too big, I can Control Z, but if I don't have this option, I will go Control and just dragging my tablet. So this is what I want now. So I'm masking with just pressing with the tablet and Control removing mask. Now I want to invert the mask, and it's very easy to Control I, but since with this hand, if I have to do Control I have pretty big hands, my 25 centimeters from here to here. It's pretty big, but it's not convenient. Control I is too far away from each other. So what I do is I press A in the keyboard. You see A. You see here A. Here I press A. And A in sculpt mode is your masking options. I don't know, this is not self-explanatory, but it's very easy because it's very close to your hand there. It's your hand is always on the Shift, Control and Alt, and A is there. So we can clear mask, invert mask, smooth mask. That's what I use mostly. I don't use those things. I use, and in this case we want to invert. So pressing A and then going left, or pressing A and going left, A left, A left, A left will invert your mask constantly. You can do it all day. I mean, A left, A left, A go left, A go left. If you press A go right, it will clear your mask, which is also convenient, but we don't want that. Control Z. So now A left. Nice. Now I press G to go to my grab brush, and then I just do this. Wow. Now my work here is done. I can A left and invert the mask again to just collect these things here. And then I can A right to clear the mask. And now I have my ear. Okay. So how much time has passed? 13 long minutes. Okay. Yeah, we need more time. So basically I will try here to increase this just with the grab brush. So grab brush is the most important brush in the beginning mostly. Then you will use the standard brush, which is the draw brush, which is X. See, I pressed X. You see it here, X. And with X, I can draw over my object. I can do this, for example. With Control, I can dig. And with just normal X, I can do this. So this is not exactly what I want, although it looks cute. But yeah, with Control, I will dig a little bit to make my eyes. And by the way, don't expect yourself, if you are beginners, to make a human head like mine right away. It took me many years to learn how to make human head in the level that I am now, which is not the best level I've seen, by the way. My level is decent. It's better than many, but it's also worse than others. So yeah, many ears. Bear that in mind. I mean, don't expect yourself to be the best in the beginning. So X again, digging with control, adding with just the tablet, and you will see how this is starting to come to life only with 3 brushes, basically. Yeah, if we don't count the mask brush, but it's only with our grab brush. Again, with the grab brush, I will increase the size of the chin. Only with the grab brush, the draw brush, X, and with the smooth brush, of course, which is shift in any brush. Almost any brush, by the way. If we are on the mask brush, shift will not smooth your mesh, it will smooth your mask, which is convenient, by the way, you will see. If you are on some other brush, there are some brushes which are other, smooth shift will not work. So you have to be careful, but most brushes that are sculpting brushes, shift will work for sculpting, for smoothing your sculpt, basically. So I'm only using those 2 brushes until now. And I can do the whole head by using only those brushes. Although I will not. I will use 2 more brushes, which I will show you in a few minutes maybe. Yeah, we have time for, yeah, no problem. We'll use. Now, let me go again to X. Just do some little bit things here. Okay, good. So, now, this looks good, but now we need more geometry already to make the mouth, for example. We don't have enough geometry here for the mouth. And we need to go again Shift R, or voxel size here, and go lower. Lower. Maybe like this we'll be able to make some, yeah. So half of it. And then Control R to apply, or voxel remesh. So Shift R and Control R are pretty important shortcuts that you should remember for sculpting. So Control R is applying the voxel remesh. Now, if I want to make the mouth, it will be easier for me to use the draw sharp brush, not the draw brush, the draw sharp. This is the second brush. And since it's shortcut, it's not very convenient by default, I made my own shortcut, which is 1. Just the 1 on the keyboard, just pressing 1. So if I'm on the draw brush, press 1 and go here. How to make shortcuts in Blender? It's absolutely amazingly easy. It's the easiest way to make shortcuts in any program. So you go and right click with your mouse and add to quick favorites. No, this is another thing. Change shortcut, just like this. Press a key 1 and it's done. So 1 is my draw sharp, 2 is my clay strips, shortcut 2. It says it because I made it. By default it's not done. So I right click on clay strips, change shortcut, press 2. It's done. Inflate, by the way, is shortcut 6. I know it's not, 1, 2, 6. Why? It's just my preference. Because I don't use it that often, it's a little bit away from the other ones. So, right click, change shortcut, 6. Great. And now, the other brush that I use is the scrape brush. It's my 3 brush, scrape brush. I will show you, it's flattening. It's flattening the area. It's very nice. So, flatten brush, it's not good for me, but scrape brush, it's thumbs up. So scrape brush, just right click, change shortcut, press 3, and we're ready with our shortcuts for this. Now I press 2, which is my clay strips. I make a little bit of this here because it was too little. With Shift I smooth. I always do something, for example, hard, like with the draw sharp brush. By the way, draw sharp brush, every time when I start the program, it's the opposite from the other brush. So when I do this, it digs. When I control, it adds, which is the opposite of any other brush. So I just like to invert it here. This plus and minus is determining what the brush is doing by default. And now it will add by default because the plus is there. It's on. So probably you need to do it yourself. Because the other brushes you see, one is the draw brush is plus by default. The clay brush, it's not. It's the layer brush, the inflate brush, they're all plus by default. Only the draw sharp brush was minus by default. I don't know. I don't like this. So I just turn it. Now, let me just with the draw sharp brush and control to dig a little mouth. Dig it. Then what I like to do is smooth here and then dig a little bit more. And then dig below the lower lip, then smooth a little bit. And then with my G, grab brush, make the lips. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but it will get there. Now with the draw sharp brush, I can make the lips, I can make this thing. I can just add some muscle here around the mouth. I can go. If you like to learn more about human anatomy, since this, or face anatomy, since this course is not about that, I'm doing it because I like doing heads, and also this helps me explain a little bit more about the sculpting in Blender. If you want to learn more, you can go to my channel, which is SpeedChar, and then there you will see, obviously it's SpeedChar, yeah. Let's go to this scrape brush and see what it does. It just flattens here. If I want to flatten this area, it will flatten. If I want to flatten this, or this, or this, I like to flatten some things just for them to look more stylized, and then I add detail, for example. After I stylize them a little bit, I add detail. This is more convenient for me, at least. So yeah, basically this head is not good. It's not very good. But for the time that we have spent on it, it's the way it is. I'm not gonna pretend that it's fine. It's not. But we may continue in the next video a little bit. I'm just using the draw sharp brush, which is our shortcut one that we have made. And I will repeat a lot of things during this course, because I know that as a beginners, most people don't really cannot learn from just one repetition of something. You have to constantly hear it. You constantly have to see what have to be done to understand and to start using it. So this will be done. You don't have to worry about it. I will constantly repeat all the shortcuts and all the things, so you will not have to write them down. By the way, I'm sure that some, especially girls, because they are more they are, how do you say it, they're more precise, so they will kind of have their little books, notebooks, and they will start, okay, Shift A to create an object, okay, Shift A, Shift plus A to create an object. What was this? Okay, M for mask brush, M, mask brush, and others. So yeah, I'm sure that this will happen, but you don't need to do this. I mean, I will explain and I will continue to say those shortcuts, or what brushes am I using, especially when we start our character. And yeah, everything will be pretty clear, I'm sure. But in order to learn everything, you need to practice it a lot. Practicing is the key. Everybody says that, and it's like, you know, I know everybody says that, but it's true. It's just true. You have to do it. You have to practice. If you don't practice, you will not go anywhere. Many people are starting to learn Blender, by the way. Much less people are finishing learning Blender, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you wanna kind of learn Blender really, you need to put time and effort. It's free program, yes, and many people are thinking, oh, why should I put so much time in a free program? Because it's capable. It's the program that you can use for almost any task. You can animate in Blender. There are movies, animated movies in Blender, which are good. You can texture in Blender a little bit, but later this year, by the way, this is 2002, they will, I think, implement some things about texturing which will make Blender closer to Substance Painter, which Substance Painter is the industry standard tool for texturing, and it will be amazing if they do it right. We'll see. But for now, it's not that easy to texture in Blender. But it can be done. Also, UV mapping, retopologizing, modeling, sculpting, as you can see, it's pretty good. Let me change this to matcap. Maybe it's a little bit better, I'm not sure. I think I see it a little bit better with matcap. Blender, by the way, you can sculpt with render like this, you see, here. You can kind of put your light where you want to be. Now in sculpting mode, it will be difficult to put our light, but let me show you a little bit more how to work in sculpting mode, how to change different objects, how to add objects. For example, I want to add eyes now, and I will show you in the next video probably, but we'll see.